I started crying. I was so ashamed to tell my mother. The woman who supported me in dropping out of school after only one semester to pursue a career of YouTube and entrepreneurship with less than 1,000 subscribers. I started to hate every video I made. All this money I made me feel nothing. Her little boy was depressed. She gave me a hug and told me she believed in me. I was just burnt out. And I'm actually embarrassed to tell you guys that I repeated this crying to mommy thing so many times in my life, over and over, feeling depressed, feeling like nothing was going well in my life, burnt out, like this wasn't my purpose anymore, until I hit the lowest moment in my life. And you can hear this story in some of the first videos on this channel. Went through one of the toughest breakups, and everything just compounded to me not wanting to live anymore. And then I learned about self-improvement and human psychology and the fact that hard work, some discipline, and so many tools in this toolbox that we as humans can not only get over anything in life, but get to a point where we love it and not feel burnt out doing it with the shit that I'm gonna teach you later in this video. So to celebrate this newfound betterment of life, I went on my first vacation in 7 years. I've been on so many trips over the past few years ever since becoming an entrepreneur, but none of them have been a vacation. They've always been work trips. And if anything, most of these trips have been so stressful by the second last day, I'm begging to go home. So I promised this to myself and to my girlfriend, that not only to reward myself for this hard work and not seeing her for 4 months on long distance, that I was gonna enjoy, oh, that's tough to say, man. That's tough to say, that I was gonna enjoy this trip. I was gonna go on my first real vacation. Now, you might hear this watched from a self-improvement channel after coming from every single other one going, oh my god, everything I knew about Damo is wrong. He's a fucking pussy. We're not allowed to take vacations. What happened to waking up at 7 every morning and grinding to the end of dawn? Because men, we take our 20s to become strong. And then we get to rest in our 30s with our millions of dollars and our Bugatti. Shut the fuck up, bro. Literally suck a dick. So I prepped for this trip, and I was genuinely terrified. Because yes, 1 year ago, this is exactly how I thought. That if any man took time away from his masculine work, it was a rightful vagina. This guy's an actual pussy. He didn't deserve to become one of the tops, one of the elites. I didn't deserve to get to my dreams, my goals, if I ever took time off. Now, how dare I say time off? Everything in my life should be dedicated toward my masculine work. That is what masculinity is. That's what I learned. I learned that masculinity was 100% dedication to your work and loving it. I didn't love it all the time. I'm sure I worked my ass off and I learned all these self-improvement techniques of how to work more, and the Pomodoro effect and deep work for 90 minutes. No, why wasn't that me? Why did I come into so many sessions of work kind of dreading it? And sure, after I felt great and I was proud of myself and I was very proud of making these videos, but there were so many times where I didn't want to. I didn't want to flip open this camera today and record these videos. It's 9:30 at night. I'm here in LA. There's a speech and convention I gotta give tomorrow. I want to go to sleep. I'm not a masculine guy. If I don't always love my work. Now listen to how stupid that shit sounds, and let's go through the rest of this video. I prepped for this trip by making sure I did all the work required for the trip. So I doubled down, I tripled down. I got triple the videos ready. I ran a marathon. I recorded 3 long form YouTube videos. I recorded 6 of these self-improvement videos, all in a week before. I was exhausted. My legs were broken from the marathon. I was burnt out every single night, sleeping 6 hours. I had so many thoughts of giving up, of let's just work on the vacation. You know, my girlfriend won't be okay with it. Yeah, she hasn't seen me for 4 months, but I'm a masculine guy. She can take it. No, we can't do that. We get the work done because we promised. We promised that when we go on this trip, there was no work to be done. The next step that I did was I got very trustable people on my team. I hired a new business manager and a personal assistant, and they took care of so many things while I was gone. And obviously, not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody has the luxury to be able to hire and afford personal assistants and managers, but this can be anybody, from a close friend to a family member. The lesson to take away is just somebody in your support system to support you. And it felt so nice to hear them tell me, go enjoy this trip and that we have it covered. And for me to let go of that responsibility, which is one of the most important things to learn in entrepreneurship. Nothing has doubled, tripled, quadrupled my income than delegating to other people and building a team and a business and not being stingy with the money and just trusting other people. And the most important, I mentally made the decision beforehand. And I flip-flopped a little bit. 4 months before this trip, I planned work half the time. And I told her, baby, if you want me for that long, 10 whole days, I'm probably gonna work half the day. And then the closer I got, I finally made the decision that this trip, I was going to do absolutely no work on. And after making that decision, and this is a very important lesson, that when you have these big things that come up that are shifts in life, whether it is something like this or changing a job, make that decision before you go do it. Whether it's a big vacation or a one-day thing, you have these big goals of being an entrepreneur and stuff, make the decision before you go of how much work you're gonna do on the trip, what you're gonna do. Because if I didn't make this decision, I know that if I went on the trip, my whole mind would be thinking, oh, can I do more work? Should I do more work? Oh, you know what, maybe I don't even deserve to be here. Fuck it. If you don't make the decision and believe in it, you will waste way more time flip-flopping through the decision. So make it first. So after 4 months of preparing for this vacation, 1 week of working hardest I've ever worked, recording over 15 videos, getting 3 weeks worth of work done in 1 week, I was finally excited to go on this vacation. When I saw my girlfriend at the airport, I learned my first lesson, that in life, spending time with loved ones is one of the most important things you can do. I took this for granted so much in my life, and it wasn't until this trip that I realized how much I depend, and we as humans should depend, on spending time with the people that we love. We're caught up so much in all these fucking Sigma grind set daily things, ways to live, of working for 16 hours a day, that we forget to rejuvenate, and most importantly, we forget that this time on this earth is very fucking precious and we need to spend it. The next thing I learned is how much I appreciated the time away from work. And I feel like so many young men feel this pressure to work. And I think this pressure is amazing. Yes, we do live in a society where men are getting weaker, maybe physically weaker, but also mentally weaker. And it's not their fault. It is not their fault that society is giving more and more cheap dopamine, artificial pleasure, so many more ways to not reach your goals and not become the man you want to be, that this pressure to work is the complete opposite. This pressure to work and to work hard for hours and hours is toxic sometimes. And that's why I believe in the books like the 4-Hour Work Week. Alex Hormozi, one of the top business entrepreneurs, talks about this all the time. You'll always get a higher ROI, a higher return on your investment, if you can do a task that might take 4 hours in 1 hour. It's about scaling things down, getting things done more efficiently, faster. Why? So you can spend more times with loved ones, more times doing things that you love. The third lesson I learned is nature. A lot of principles, self-improvement, is meditation and getting outside and seeing the natural sunlight to increase the photons in our eyes, to reset our circadian rhythm. And all these things are just tools for us to improve our lives, but they all come from the natural outside world. The ways away from this artificial dopamine, away from social media. I've always been scared to tell people on the internet to get off the internet. One, because of course it's gonna get less views for my videos. The platform doesn't want me to say this, and I'm probably gonna get banned if I say this too much. Of course, there's so many tools that can come from social media. You can learn some life skills that you might never learn in school, but putting the phone down and just appreciating the simple walk outside. The simple, you know how beautiful it is that we were just driving in the car with the window down and my girlfriend would look at the trees that we drive by and give me, she's like, babe, I'm so grateful to have trees like this. I'm like, wow, she's actually just a very present person. She has no addiction to things. She's a very disciplined person naturally. I'm looking at her just, it's crazy to me. You don't have all these mental issues that I have, and you don't have to meditate every day for 10 minutes on the schedule just to feel happy about yourself. Some of the best moments on the trip, we went shark diving. That fucking scared the shit out of me. Never in my life would I thought the botanical gardens of Hawaii was gonna be the coolest experience of my life. It was genuinely one of the best times. I'm these beautiful mountains, these views. I wish I grew up more like that, going on more hikes and things and just appreciating the beauty. I have so many friends that I grew up with that they had that. The next lesson I learned is that hard work pays off. Now, at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to afford all of this at 21 years old. Being able to fly not only myself, but my girlfriend, live in one of the nicest Airbnbs with a full kitchen, and then go into one of the nicest resorts on an island hours away from where I live. Being able to experience new adventures every single day, not having to look at the price tag on food, being able to forget some of my clothing at home and buy new clothing there, that is a fucking luxury. But a luxury like that is something I take for granted, not only because I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do it, but because my past self is to be thanked. And you can call this egotistic, you can call this too prideful, being a douchebag, but I genuinely look at that 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old self who worked on the YouTube channel every single day for hours, who tried all these different methods over and over, kept failing to make his first $1,000. So as much as we need to appreciate the slow life and the nature and just being in the present, you should go out and chase that success. You should go out and try to make as much money as you can within your morals. Collect all these resources to be able to go have more of these adventures, to have more of these experiences, because what the modern world is set up is everything is so expensive. It is way more of a price to pay to not go become an entrepreneur, not go become rich, than just to enjoy the everyday normal life. Because if you're doing that, you have so much less opportunity to have location freedom, time freedom. We'll make a whole other video on this, how to make your first $10,000 a month or whatever, because I truly believe like getting to these 5-digit a month milestones, they are important to be able to provide for the future family, to be able to have experience like this. So not only do you need to go out, find that purpose and that passion that you can monetize and go chase it and go do it, but to also look back and be grateful. I know that some people might never have this opportunity. Some people might never stumble upon this space on YouTube, stumble upon this space on the internet of improving yourself physically, mentally, and financially. So go put in the hard work, because it does pay off. It pays off in moments like this. And the most important final lesson that I learned is balance, and the importance of balance. This has always been my hardest struggle in life. I've always been on the extremes, either extremely lazy and depressed and not doing anything, or the hardest working one in the room, working these 20-hour days thinking I'm on the Sigma grind set. And I've put together this concept called the balance ladder, the 3 hierarchies of balance. Number 1, the worst one, is just being the degenerate, being the lazy guy who sits in bed all day, who has all these dreams, watching all these self-improvement videos, but not putting in any action. The step above that is being the fucking Sigma grind setter. You know, the guy who's chasing it every single day, but going so far above and beyond, so far beyond their comfort zone that he burns out within 5 days of doing this. And the third one, the final, the best on the hierarchy ladder, is the balanced person, the person that can do both. Here's an actionable guide of how to become balanced, so not only can you enjoy the labor, the fruits of your labor, but just enjoy the entire process. And I only have one step for this, and that's just simply scheduling out time smartly. I use Google Calendar to schedule everything in my life. I have an assistant that helps me with this. For a whole year, I was doing this completely by myself. Before I had this, coincidentally, was the time in my life I was the most depressed. And ever since I got this, it has fixed my life so much. Because I get to put in these 5 pillars that I'm gonna talk to you about and fit them in to create the most balanced life, a life that I genuinely enjoy. Now, first off, balance looks different to everybody. So for me, sometimes only 1 hour a day of free time is enough. And it's what is required to not only get the work done, but to recover for the next day. 2, a golden rule when you're scheduling time is to schedule every block longer than it should take. So I schedule my workout block sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, knowing that the workout might only take an hour. And finally, you want to treat your schedule like the Bible. On the days that I don't look at my schedule when there's important tasks to be done, I always fuck up. And that just comes down to me as a person being a reforming pussy, being still very much an absolute little bitch, not being able to do it. When you follow this to a T, it builds so much self-pride and self-discipline. And also it's nice to just know that you're getting the work done that you should. So here are the 5 pillars of the things that you want to put in. The first one, your purpose work. The work that you are fulfilled by, whether it's your entrepreneurship work or possibly just the work that you do, that 9-to-5 job that you have that is your purpose right now because you need to start building up some income to do your work on the side. So this purpose work has to be the thing that you are most attached to, that serves you, serves society, is the thing that you care about the most. For me, it's genuinely just scheduling time to plan out these videos, make these videos for my other channels, just all the work around this channel, the other channels, and just the whole business. That is my purpose. Second, your physical work, such as your cardio, your working out. This is very important of one of the pillars. A good example is some of my good friends who are multi-millionaires at the age of 20 years old. They neglected their physical fitness for so long that they just started to burn out. After years of building these $1 million companies, they started to burn out, and the minute that they started taking their physical fitness seriously, their companies doubled, tripled in revenue. Physical fitness is not only important because it brings mental clarity, makes you stronger, builds self-pride, builds yourself up as a man. It translates the adversity and challenge that you face in the gym, going to a rep you don't believe that you can get and finishing it, and then telling yourself that you could do one more, and then you end up doing 10 more, will translate when you are on the 88th minute of deep work and you have 2 minutes left and you want to finish this paragraph because you know you need to go do the next thing in your calendar. You don't feel like you can push through, but you do. Number 3, mental work. This is your gratitude journaling, your meditation, the ice baths, whatever it is that you do, that you've learned from this channel, from any other self-improvement, that you have to do on a daily basis to make yourself mentally better. You have to put this in. Sometimes this is the most important to put in. We can't call ourselves men that are trying to improve our lives and self-improvement if we don't have these in our schedule. Number 4, the hardest thing for me to put in, rest and recovery. The reason that this was so hard is because whenever I wanted to rest or take my time off work, or I finished a block of deep work, I noticed that my first instinct was to go pick up my phone and scroll on social media, or to go watch a TV show. That's not rest and recovery. Do you really think the guy who's playing video games to 3 a.m. is truly resting? Like, sure, you might feel more relaxed, you're with your friends, you're enjoying. You're actually burning some calories and your brain is so much more active. This is not rest. This is not recovery. This is being active in a not healthy way. Rest and recovery looks like putting everything down, closing your eyes, taking a rest, setting a timer, taking a 30-minute nap. This is walking outside. This is going over to your friend and just messing with him and then going back to work. I do this shit all the time. This could even be calling up a loved one and talking to them. This is your rest and recovery. Number 5, the final one, experience. Whether it is date nights with your girl, going on dates, trying to get a girl, bringing your boys out to the arcade, going paintballing, something that is not the top 4 above. It is not your purpose work. It is not your physical activity. It is not your rest and recovery. And it is not your mental health work. These are the experiences, the things that you've always wanted to do, that trip that you've wanted to take, going fishing with your dad, whatever it is. This is arguably the most important thing to put into your calendar, to put into your schedule, because this is where you're gonna gain the most profound life lessons. These are the things that are gonna teach you the most about yourself. So sometimes the hardest thing to do is the most balanced thing to do, because as men we always look for extremes. On the outside it's because they seem right. It's the hard choice, it's the cool choice. Working 20 hours over 4 hours makes sense because it gets us closer to our goals. But secretly it's the easier thing to do. It's easier to live in these extremes than to live in the balanced. It's easier to go hard for 4 days and to burn out for 10 and start hating what you do than to live a steady life of fulfillment, hard work, of self-improvement over a long time and never burning out. So if we want to keep improving our lives and becoming the best versions of ourselves, and if the way that we learn to do that is to always pick the hardest path, it's time we find the balance. So go fucking open up your calendars, boys. Go make a balanced routine. Let me know in the comment section below so other people can take some from your routine. And just go fucking outside, touch a tree, sniff some grass. Love you.